Hello Pisces friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Pisces February 2022 Astrology Must-Knows Horoscope Forecast. Click on the little More button underneath this video, the little arrow that says More, and that will reveal all the links to the free goodies that I make for you each month, including how you can run a free birth chart, how you can learn astrology with me, my books, and all kinds of other things like that. So this is for you if Pisces is your sun sign, Pisces is your moon sign, Pisces is your rising, or you have any other placement in Pisces you watch for. What we're going to cover here is going to be part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late Pisces, so we'll say 25 degrees through the rest of the sign, or around March 15th or so through the rest of the sign, then I highly recommend that you additionally watch my Aries forecast, because you very cuspy people have a more complex read and you'll get information from both readings. This is one of the least astrologically active months for a long time. It just seems like all the time we're like, oh, there's so much to cover, there's so much to cover. And of course, there are always lots of things to talk about, but we are getting a little break here. We're in between eclipse seasons. We don't have any difficult major outer aspects, and we do have quite a bunch of must-knows, and we're going to go through all of them. So let's look at our little list here. This is what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about the extended Capricorn and Aquarius transits and what that means for you as Pisces. We're going to actually just state right now, there are about the same sweet and salty aspects this month. And it's an interesting month in the way that almost all the aspects that are occurring are ones that can go either way. We do have a couple of additional sweet ones, but all the ones that could be challenging equally or additionally could be super sweet. So your perspective is going to reign supreme this month, because if you're looking at things in a positive way, then you can really get the better end of these sort of neutral transits. Then we're going to talk about, you're going to get a little snapshot into the January through April 2022 calendar as it relates to the retrogrades, the open launch period, the eclipse season that will start later, and some highlights there. So I have a little visual calendar for you to help you understand the energy of February better, because we do have a hybrid month where part of the month is very much covered in retrograde and part of the month opens up into this beautiful, I think the best of period for doing big things of this whole entire year. And I'll get into the details as to why. And then we're going to talk about a very long awaited, very exciting, positive aspect in the outer planets. Jupiter making a wonderful aspect to the planet Uranus is rare, and we've been getting shellacked with outer planet combinations. Those outer planet ones are ones that move more slowly, so they're kind of in process for a long time. So we really want to talk about details about this, and some of you will get even more goodies out of this, but this is really great for every person, every Pisces, every member of the zodiac. So we'll go into some juicy details there. All right, so let's now drill down into our Pisces specific list. So Pisces big must-knows, we're going to talk about how those Capricorn and Aquarius planets affect you, what houses are highlighted for you or fields of experience by those movements. We're going to talk about birthdays. Happy birthday to some of you, these early placement Pisces. And then of course I'll go deep into the calendar, and then we'll go deep into the Jupiter and Uranus beautiful aspect. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about, the first must know, is that we have a very extended period of time of Capricorn planets, because usually those planets move very quickly, and the sun passes in and out at the end of December, to the end of January, and then there's a little bit here and there. But this month we have an extension of Venus in Capricorn because of the retrograde. And we also have Mars in Capricorn, and that only happens every 2 years. So what that means for Pisces is more focus, more persistence, more clarity, more direction. Even here in the retrogrades, there's something really solidifying for you about this, because Earth planets make a nice aspect with Pisces, especially Capricorn makes a 60-degree angle. We'll be talking more about that 60-degree angle when we talk about Jupiter and Uranus later, but it's basically the ingredients on a counter open option for sweetness. So you basically get delivered to you a bunch of ingredients to make something awesome, and then you have to do something with it. But you'll have lots of opportunities to do that, and this will be very tangible. Okay, there are a lot of ways we can have success and happiness in life, but these combinations are specifically to bringing your ideas, your emotions, your artistic endeavors into a gelled material form through productivity, through accomplishment, through improved finances, and things like that. So it's a very positive period, and we have that going all month. It's also going to light up your friendship sector, so your friendships might take on more significance, and you trying to find people that you identify with as far as your group, or people that speak your language, literally or figuratively, is going to be very active for networking. And this is also a house that is called the house of the big dreams. And I don't mean the ones you have at night, although that house is actually aspected at this time too. We'll get into that. So big dreams are the big ones that you dare sometimes not even speak that you have, but you've got a lot of that tangible energy for trying to gel those big dreams. And so that is very positive, and there might be some key people that come in either from the past or new people that can help that happen for you. So be on the lookout, be networking, and really feel into saying yes to anything that feels right for you that is offered to you at this time, because you're likely to have some invites to things online or in person that could then spur something of great significance for you. Like if you need a job, or if something that you're trying to do could come from a networking opportunity. So that 12th house that is aspected, this has to do with your dreams at night. So you might see an increase to the activity of your dreams, to the productivity of your dreams, meaning that they're coming up and you're figuring out what to do with them. This also highlights a time when you might have a little increase in fears and anxiety. And this always happens right before your birthday, or right before the sun crosses over whatever your Pisces point is, because the 12th house is flooded. And the 12th house is the house of fears and addictions, and just kind of like the stuff that we stuff down. So sometimes that stuff comes, out, but it's nothing to fear. You just know that this is a time to be very active with dealing with the things that come up, taking action on how you clear fear. And you can do searches for this on the internet. I'm always talking about ways to do this, inner work, as we call it. Things like EFT, the emotional freedom technique, tons of free resources online, even just journaling, or, talking to somebody about some issues, getting help with some addictive patterns. And it doesn't just have to be for addictions like, sensory addictions. It can be anything having to do with like the fear addiction, where we're addicted to fear. And every time you feel like you could be calm, then you get afraid again. That actually does have an addictive response in your body. So these types of things will be coming up for many of you. But again, it's nothing to fear, because everything in the universe is purposeful. And all of these things come up now so that you can use the time when the sun crosses over your natal sun, which is your birthday, or if you have another Pisces placement, the sun crosses over whatever placement that is, as a time for your wishes, your intentions, and your regeneration. So sometimes we have to dip a little bit more into the things we don't want to get super clear on the things we do want. And so a little bit of that will be going on. So happy birthday to you all who will be having your birthdays. Definitely look for Making Wishes Come True, Annie Botticelli, and find my video on how you can make the most of your birthday wishes, and also how you can set really great intentions. Okay, so let's see. Another big must know for Pisces is that we do have Jupiter in Pisces. We've been talking about this. This only happens once every 12 years. And so it is a big time. Jupiter is the benevolent planet. We call it that because it actually, astronomically, it protects us from having all the other planets come charging in and pulling us all into the sun. In old times when they named Jupiter the Great Benefic, I wonder if they knew that astronomically it was protecting us. But it does. And there is this energy of protection, of optimism, of expansion. But sometimes Jupiter has to increase a little bit of something that's a nuisance first so that you can go ahead and get to the solution. So sometimes it makes a little bit more of a mess, but that is usually purposeful. Now, every Pisces placement has this energy going from the end of December through early May. But those of you who are between 7 and 13 degrees, and if you're not sure if you have your placements between 7 and 13 degrees, go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. In the welcome letter, you'll get information on how you can run a free birth chart. Then you can run a free birth chart, then you can come back and use the videos that I make and all the other resources in more detail. So now you can run your birth chart, you can see, do you have any Pisces placement between 7 and 13 degrees? If so, Jupiter is going to cross over it this month in February. For some of you, this can be some of the best news you've ever had in your life, and let's hope that it manifests that way. But it usually is supremely positive, although sometimes Jupiter does create expansion that is not welcome. It is the most benevolent of all the outer planets, so the odds are definitely higher for this to be good for you. Everyone has a chance to have the magic, but those of you in 7 to 13 degrees, even more. So for the birthdays, that's going to be like the end of February, the last few days of February, and the first few days of March are going to get your Jupiter kiss at this time. All right, so let's see. There's something else I want to talk about there. Nope. Let's now look at this beautiful calendar that I laid out for you so we can talk more about the retrograde energy this month, what to do with that, the direct energy this month, the dates. You can see the first whole quarter of the year at a glance with my beautiful visuals. So let's check that out now. Okay, so to better understand the energies of February and how to use them, it will be very helpful to understand the energies that are surrounding February and running our compare and contrast. And plus you get a sneak peek into the whole full first quarter of 2022. So we're going to check this out. I'll give you details about this as it relates to the energies of retrograde and direct, and then we'll hit our retrograde direct list so that you can see what types of activities to align in what location on our calendar here. Okay, so here we are in February. Now, just to give a little backdrop, January we had Mercury go retrograde on January 14th. That shadow period had started in the last couple of days of December. So essentially all of January is full of retrograde energy. All right, Mercury was retrograde, Venus was retrograde, didn't go direct till the end of the month. Now, we still are having a carryover of that energy into February because even though Mercury is direct right here at the beginning, it doesn't clear out of its post-shadow period until the 24th. This is what I mean about this hybrid energy, because the energy after the 24th is more in the direct energy, and then that just steamrolls and gets stronger on the 2nd of March when the energies become more completely clear, and we open into our first open launch period and our first of only 2 open launch periods of the whole year. Now we'll come back to this calendar, but I want to talk a little bit about the difference between the retrograde and direct energies to help you understand. January and for most of February, we've been in Retroville, okay? So this is a time when things are going inwards and backwards. The tides are coming in. If you're trying to put something out onto the water, into the world, the tides are going to just roll it right back in. So it's better to just deal with what comes up. I always like to say, be the spider and eat the food that comes to you instead of trying to go out and find a bunch of food or, weave a bunch of webs and push and, make things happen. This is a time that although the energies are strong with Capricorn energy in January and February, which is good for getting stuff done, it's still better for dealing with the things you have to deal with that have piled up, that, clearing out the clutter, doing your taxes, researching things for the future, wrapping up loose ends. You'll have a lot of focus towards tedious tasks, but that doesn't mean you should be trying to push them out very far. You just kind of deal with them as they come up. It can lend itself to a little confusion because with the retrogrades, things get called into question. So for most of February, we still have some things possibly being called into question, especially that first half. And it's a time really to just honor the flow. If you're trying to do something and it's not working, don't force it, and you'll have a much happier relationship with the retrogrades. So it's a time to be in the moment and just, leave room for last minute magic. We basically leave yourself unscheduled as possible in your circumstance to leave room for this last minute magic. Okay, so just to go back now, this retro that we talked about, this is all of January and pretty much the first half of February, with it starting to wane after the second half of February as we get towards February 24th. But then once we get into February 24th and being triumphantly reiterated as we get to March 2nd, and then very strong from March 2nd through April 27th is the big open time for launches. So let's look at what that means. So that is the direct energy. Direct in this instance is talking about no personal planets being retrograde. Personal planets, Venus, Mercury, Mars are the personal planets that go retrograde. And we have another retrograde year here because we've got Mars retrograde towards the end of the year. So we've only got another time, part of June, all of July, part of August, that will be completely free from personal planet retrogrades. And of those two windows, this window, this March 2nd through April 27th window is even more strong for launches than that June through August one, because we've got all these Aries energies that will be coming up in March. And that is really good for bursting things out into the world. So here's where you want to do your big launches, your big life dream decisions, get your book out, engagements, weddings, marriages. Spring is, or fall for you all down under, is a lovely time for weddings. And this is a really fantastic time in the stars. Agreements, commitments, investments, moves, brand new projects, having clarity, future planning, and to push, initiate, and even force sometimes. If you have to push through something within yourself, it's much easier to push things out into the world when the tides are going out, as they will be towards the end of February. Okay, so once we get around Valentine's Day, February 14th, things are starting to look pretty clear. We still have another 10 days of the haze until we get it completely clear. And then we still have a little lingering energy of Venus, Venus, of course, ruling love, beauty, money. I went into those energies at, fully in the November, December, January horoscopes, and you can search for Botticelli Venus retrograde to understand that more. But that's very, very important to understand. Okay, so while we've got our calendar here, let's just hit a couple of more points. Eclipse season is going to start mid-March because it starts around 4 to 6 weeks before the first eclipse, which in this case actually is April 30th. And then there's one in May as well. These are the Taurus-Scorpio eclipses. And so those types of, big changes, the anxiety, the butterflies, the feeling like your finger's stuck in a socket, we've got a break here in February from that. Because even though we can see eclipse news or eclipse-related news come in at any time during the years of the eclipse cycle, they tend to heat up in the 4 to 6 weeks before the eclipse. So this February time is really nice in that way, that we are free of the heat of eclipse season. And actually, February is one of the most non-eventful astrological months of the whole year. We've, a lot of times we've got a lot of things going on. In February, we have a little bit less. So it's just kind of, it's a hybrid in the way that it's, retrograde for part and direct for part. But we don't have as many planets clashing. We don't have any of the big negative planet clashes that we've been having. And actually, we have a super positive one, which we're going to talk about more after this. But I just want to show you the dates on the calendar here. Mid-January through mid-March, this Jupiter sextile Uranus aspect. Now, we've been getting shellacked by outer planets connecting in a difficult way. When outer planets come together, it's very powerful and have very strong lasting effects for everybody. And the aspects usually last for a long time because those planets are slower moving. So we only have one pass of this Jupiter-Uranus beautiful kiss. And the strongest part of it will be here February 17th through the 21st. But the whole month before and after, the energies are very strong. So let's talk about what the blessings and potential positive effects of the Jupiter-Uranus connections will be. So now that we're really clear about the calendar, the energies of what to do when and why, let's talk more about this beautiful, rare aspect between Jupiter and the planet of surprises, Uranus. And I'm going to go into great detail about what you can expect from that. And do know that every single member of the Pisces placements, every single member of the zodiac has really equal chance to see amazing things. And we'll talk about the timeline there as well when we get into get in deeper here in a second. But I do want to also mention that there are some of you that this is going to really hone in on for extra positive potentials, okay? And that is going to be anyone close to 11 degrees. So this is actually the same people who are getting targeted by Jupiter. We'll say, you know, like 11 is 5, so like from 6 to 17 degrees, so still like the February born, especially like 25th on, and really what we're getting now into like the first week of March. This Jupiter-Uranus aspect will extend those dates I had given you for the Jupiter Pisces target quite a bit. So, you know, it's a few days earlier in February, a few days later in March for you to get extra blessings from this Jupiter-Uranus combination. And if you're at 11 degrees, so if you have something at 11 degrees, you are in the most chance for the positive, extra crazy blessings. And that's going to be, you know, like the first couple of days of March. But again, if you run your chart, you'll be able to see what your degrees are. So let's look at the details of why this is so amazing, the dates, and what could go on. Okay, let's drill down into the exciting transit of Jupiter sextile Uranus. As we've been talking about, we have been having a lot of difficulties with the outer planets, these slower moving planets that once they come into a configuration, they stay in it for a while. Except that has been very heavy because the configurations that have been happening over the last couple of years have been consistently difficult. But now we have a beautiful period where we've got the outer planets, two of them, Jupiter and Uranus, Jupiter in Pisces and Uranus in Taurus, coming together in this fabulous combination. So we're going to talk about some things that go on as positive potentials. But let's first look at what we're looking at here. So here is the planet Uranus. And here is Jupiter. Jupiter's in Pisces. And this meeting is actually going to occur at 11 degrees. Okay, so once Jupiter moves to the 11 degree of Pisces position, it will lock in place into a sextile, which is a 60-degree angle. If you've been listening to my work for a while, you know that a 60-degree angle is the opportunity angle. It's the ingredients on a counter angle where we're presented with a bunch of different options to make beautiful meals in our lives. That's a figurative and possibly literal as well. But we have to do something with it. So this is a time where you have to really look for, sometimes it will be apparent, but you have to look for and do something with the potentials, and then you can activate this expansion of Jupiter, the intuition and artistic connectedness to all things of Pisces, the emotional high EQ, and this Uranus, the innovation and surprises and sudden insights and sudden events in this grounded energy of Taurus, meaning the very unstable energy of Uranus is able to be much more manifested into form, which is a hard thing to do with Uranus. It's very fleeting. So the combination of the solidness of the Earth placement, the really just innovative and futuristic energies of Uranus, combined with this beautiful, emotional, intuitive, expansive energy. So anything that combines all of those energies, there will be lots of opportunities. Now, the dates that are most active are February 17th through the 21st. This is the big day when the official degree and minute line up, but they're still matching at 11 degrees through this time, from February 17th to February 21st. But from all of mid-January, and sensitive people could feel it a little sooner, even beginning of January, possibly even sooner, but certainly mid-January through mid-March. And again, sensitive people, if you're looking out, you might see those effects kind of drizzling in later. But we've definitely got a 2-month period where this energy is very strong and very usable. So we could discover the power of rest and quiet revealing itself in wonderful ways. Through sudden insights, problem solving, awarenesses of the past, dips into the future. In this particular configuration, daring to do something different can yield very positive results. Now, I'm not talking about, and here we can kind of talk about this, indulging in a crazy idea can work out big time. We're not talking about super reckless, very dangerous things necessarily, unless intuitively there's something very specific in that for you. But in general, this is something with like a calculated risk. That Taurus energy with the Uranus really likes that calculated risk, but just having the daringness to do something different. And that's very subjective. So you doing something different, can feel like a big deal to you, this thing you're going to do. But someone else might not think twice about doing that particular thing. So it's a relative experience, but it could work out really well. Taking a step away from an issue or a pattern could reveal sudden life-changing insights and outcomes. So that's this, Jupiter and Pisces, where we're expanding that quiet space. I like to call it the space of private personal pursuits. And then anything artistic in nature, finding your voice with your art, stepping into art for the first time, expanding the artistic endeavors you have. Artistic endeavors can take on more special significance at this time. And any psychological or other inner work can actually expand even further and include sudden healings of addictions, fear, or anxiety. Now, just to, be very raw here, as humans, we're probably never going to be completely free of fear, right? But the patterns and the addictive pattern of feeling when we have to be afraid, we could have some major impact here, including perfect practitioners that come in, modalities that come in that can be helpful, or our sudden and clear commitment to use tools to help us to calm down when we get anxious. Tools like EFT, the Emotional Freedom Technique. There are so many tools you can look for, tools to clear fear, tools, self-help for anxiety. And of course, if it's very extreme and you need help, then this might be a time where you can find someone that can really help you. And innovation and intuition commingling in powerful ways. So this is just a really magical time full of promise, with that little note, though, the little footnote that says, but hey, it's a sextile, so you might actually have to do something with those possibilities that are surrounding you to activate their full glory. Okay, so I've given you lots to work with to help you make the most of the energies this month and to help you understand the energetic patterns at work and play. And if you'd like more resources, I've got all of these here. You can additionally go to the little more button, the little arrow underneath the bottom right of the video. Click on that, and all of the links that I'm giving you here will be clickable, right? So if you're looking for reading options, including a beautiful, very detailed 45-minute audio of your birth chart for $33 from my brilliant husband, you can find that at anniebclarity.com. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. This is where you can access running a free birth chart. This is where you access my 28-day in-depth virtual coaching program called Shine for free. This is also where you'll find tons of blogs, and you get lots of other perks for being on my newsletter list. If you're looking for written horoscopes by me, always up a month early, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. If you haven't seen this site, go to it. It is so beautiful. We've got me and my team have lots of amazing astrology-inspired blogs and healthy living blogs. We've got hypnosis for all the signs. We've got healing frequencies for all the signs. I've got the written horoscopes that I write. We have yoga for all the signs. So it's just a very beautiful, comprehensive site. If you're looking for free courses on how to manifest money and wellness, you can go to lumlife.com, my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, LUMLIFE. You can also find my astrology education courses here, including my behemoth of a master course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which you can fully utilize even if you don't want to be a professional astrologer, but it certainly will get you up to the level where you could be and show you how to make your business a success. And payment plans are available there too. Now, I've also got 2 books out and more on the way. Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You will find this on the bookshelves in all major booksellers, including all the Books A Million, all the Barnes & Nobles. It's right there on the shelf. Plus, you can get it on Amazon and through any independent bookseller. And you can find Radical Prayer on Amazon, and you can order it anywhere as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.